speaking English, do you get confused between words like might, may, could, or can? Then you're in luck. Welcome to this week's episode of Learn English with Natalie. I am your host Natalie, and today we are going to be learning all about modal verbs. Please make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you find it useful. And don't forget, you can download the PDF activity sheet for free that is available on my website and will help you to further your learning in this area. It accompanies this episode. So let's talk about what we're going to learn today. Today, we are going to learn what are modal verbs, and you are going to learn 3 common modal verbs that express possibility, and you will be able to use them confidently in your English conversations. Do you have to be perfect? Absolutely not. We're here to learn. The more mistakes you make, the better your learning is. Don't worry if you don't know all of the modal verbs just yet. Just practice the ones that we learned today until you are comfortable in using them in your English conversations naturally. Today we're going to focus on one type of modal verb and we will learn more in the future. So, what are modal verbs? Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, so they are helping verbs that add meaning to the main verb in a sentence. They can express possibility, ability, permission, or necessity. Today, our focus is on modal verbs of possibility, how likely or unlikely something is to happen. The key modal verbs of possibility are might, may, could. Let's break them down and learn how to use them in everyday conversations. When we want to talk about something that is possible but not certain, so it's not definite, we use might, may, could. My turn. Might, your turn. My turn, may, your turn. My turn, could, your turn. Lovely. These words help us to express the degrees of possibility, so how possible it is that something might happen. For example, it might rain later today. She may join us for dinner. We could visit the museum tomorrow. So in those examples, we can hear that these things aren't definite. Here's a top tip for learning English. When using modal verbs, you can interchange might and may. They have very similar meaning, although may is used more formally. Let's have a quick practice. Think about your day tomorrow. Maybe it is certain that you're going to work, but what is another event that might or may happen? You might say, I might go to the gym. I might go for a walk. I may visit a relative. Have a practice. Now we're going to talk briefly about past possibilities. So how we can use these words in the past tense. To do this, we add the word have on the end. So, my turn. Might have. Your turn. Lovely. My turn. May have. Your turn. Great. And finally, could have. Your turn. Excellent. Now, here's another tip for you. Please, instead of using the word have, do not replace it with the word of. Even native speakers do this sometimes. They say, I might have, I could have, I would have. That is incorrect. The word is have. I might have, I may have, I could have. These words are followed by the past participle of the main verb. They help us speculate about things that could have happened in the past. Here are some examples. She might have forgotten her keys. They may have taken a different route. He could have finished the project earlier. These expressions are perfect for reflecting on situations where the outcome is uncertain or unknown. Practice this. Think of a situation where you're not sure what happened. Make a sentence using might have, may have, or could have. Have a think. What is something that's happened in the past where you're not sure of the outcome? It could have happened this morning, yesterday, last week, 10 years ago. Have a practice. Okay, let's go over some common mistakes of using modal verbs so that you don't make these mistakes in the future. Some English learners confuse possibility with certainty. So an incorrect sentence would be, it will rain later. It will defines this sentence as certain, as if you can predict the future. You know it's going to rain. It will rain later. If you're not sure, you should say, it might rain later. Often, I see English language learners using the wrong form after a modal verb. For example, it is incorrect to say, she might to go. You don't need the to. You should say, she might go. She might go to the mall. She might go to the park. She might go. Another common misconception is that English language learners can sometimes mix modal verbs of possibility with necessity incorrectly. For example, the sentence, you must have come. Must expresses necessity. Must is like, you must do something. You have to do it. It is important. But you might have come expresses possibility. So, you might have come, but I didn't see you there, so I'm not sure. If I said, you must have come, that means I did see you there. It's of necessity. Activity time. This is your activity for this week. I want you to write 6 sentences using some modal verbs from today's episode. Remember those modal verbs were might, may, and could. 3 of those sentences must contain past possibilities. So 3 out of 6 should use might have, may have, or could have. Don't forget to reach out to me on TikTok and YouTube at Learn English with Natalie. I love to receive your feedback. And if this episode has helped you, then please leave me some feedback and subscribe to this channel. If you are listening to the podcast version of this, then please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It definitely helps me to reach a larger audience, and I'm working hard to grow this channel so I can reach more learners just like you. Again, you can download the free PDF activity sheet that comes with this episode on my website, which is learnenglishwithnatalie.podia.com. That's learnenglishwithnatalie.podia, Podia.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next week for the next lesson. See you soon.